Bobby Cummines is the Chief Executive of Unlock. That's the National Association of Reformed Offenders. Good morning, Bobby.
Good morning, Charlie.
The reason that you formed Unlock was because of your past history. You have a criminal record, don't you? Can you tell us about that?
Yes, certainly. You know, I was a bank robber. I served 13 years out of 20 for bank robbery, and rightly so. But when I came out, you know, I wanted to change my life around. And I was applying for jobs, and obviously, because of the criminal record, couldn't get them. And I wound up taking menial jobs. I went and worked picking shells in Tesco's at night time. I had 3 jobs, low-paid jobs on the go. And I was doing a university degree at the time, which I was paying for, out of that money. And, you know, now I'm a chief exec of a charity. I do television, radio. I go into schools to de-glamorise crime and turn kids away from crime. I'm a specialist advisor. I was a specialist advisor in Tony Blair's government. I also sit on committees in the House of Lords as an advisor. And I was a specialist advisor in the public inquiry into the death of Zaid Mubarak, a young Asian boy who was murdered by a racist cellmate. So I sit on many committees. I also advise the Chinese government on their support for ex-offenders. And actually today I'm meeting with people from Japan about their rehabilitation systems.
That's quite a CV since being released from prison, because at one time you were classed as one of Britain's most dangerous men.
That's correct.
So do you feel that, having been through all of that, that employers do discriminate against people with criminal records?
What really worries us, Charlie, is obviously you can't have paedophile sex offenders working in schools. I mean, that's ridiculous, common sense. But it's gone beyond the pale now, because what we've got now is the CRB are not running these checks properly how they're supposed to run, so that comes into a lot. And you've got people that have had a conviction maybe for when they was at college smoking a bit of cannabis, who have been employed in a company for 10 years, reliable employees, working hard, and then when they want to make the cutbacks and the redundancies, they do a CRB check, and they can get rid of these people without paying them redundancy. But it goes further than that, Charlie. For instance, if you, with no criminal record, was a good soul and thought, well, I know someone who was a little bit naughty in the past, but they've gone straight now, I'll give them a room in my house, you automatically, your home contents and house insurance is void, which means your mortgage is at risk, even though you have committed no criminal record. So that's the sort of prejudice we're coming up against.
Can employers legally reject a job application based on a criminal record?
Charlie, that is a brilliant question, because yes, they can, because people...
Even if the job isn't relevant to the person's past?
Charlie, unfortunately, yes, because what happens is the reformed offender is not protected by the Discrimination Act. If I discriminate against you because of your gender, because of your colour, because of your religion, because if you're disabled, then we can take you to tribunal. But that does not apply to ex-offenders. They are not in that category. And we're so concerned about it that I'm talking to people in Newcastle at the moment, because we've got a diamond project where we want to get kids off the streets away from drug dealers and antisocial behaviour, and also long-term unemployed. And the Diamond Project, if anyone wants to look on our website, unlock.org.uk, they can.
And get these kids on a different path.
Well, we're going to train them into employment. What we're going to do is give them a trade for life. And not only, you know, the low-tariff ex-offender, I mean low-tariff, antisocial behaviour, not the Yorkshire Rippers, and also the unemployed. We're willing to invest, and I'm looking at groups in the North East, especially Newcastle, at £48 million that my investors are willing to invest to build it. And there'd be leisure facilities for the community, and your community will be building it, so we'll be creating employment straight away.
Now, you've mentioned Newcastle. We heard from a few people there, because a specific survey's been done on Tyneside about people's attitudes, and a number of the people that we spoke to said, well, ex-offenders, they're to blame for committing the crime in the first place, so then if they complain about the consequences later, they're just trying to have their cake and eat it.
No, look, when you commit an offence, you go to a court, a judge has all the evidence before them and gives you an appropriate sentence, and rightly so. If you're dangerous, they bang you, and rightly so. But we're getting people that are going through the system that are not dangerous to the public, they're antisocial behaviour, and rather deal with the problems, why they got there in the first place. What Jack Straw did and what Tony Blair did was lock it away for the next government to deal with. Now, what we got to look at, if you want these people to stop offending and to change, what you've got to give them is the opportunity do change. If you lock them out of our society, there is another society welcoming them in arms, and that's a criminal society, and what happens is the next victim of crime happens. Now, what unlocks about is creating opportunity so that these people don't create the next victim of crime. We're dealing with it head-on, not just the effects of crime, but the causes of crime. Because for everyone in prison, that's 3 victims of crime that's happened. We're adamant that we don't want the next victim of crime happen. That's why I'm willing to invest not only the 48 million that our investors are willing to invest, and that's private money, not taxpayers' money. We're quite willing to invest a lot more in affordable housing and everything in Newcastle.
Thank you very much, Bobby. That's Bobby Cummines, the Chief Executive of Unlock, the National Association of Reformed Offenders.